So welcome to our third and final segment in this series on what is the Bible. We're here in Beacon Books, Kingdom Crafts on Maddox Street in Llandudno, and I'm here with Rev'd Ben, who's helping us discuss this question. Today we're particularly looking at the question of how can we use the Bible in our everyday lives. So Ben, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
And can I ask you that question? How do we use the Bible, Ben?
Well, we read it first and foremost. It's always a good start, isn't it, with a book? But we read it very specifically. This is the Bible that I was gifted in the year 2000 by my mum. You can see it's in pretty bad condition, highlighted from cover to cover. And as I read this as a young person, I began to discover the richness that was contained within its pages, and reading a small portion each day, reading different genres, reading historical narrative, reading records of people, reading poetry and song as well in the Psalms, and then coming to the Gospels and reading of the great story of Jesus, and then the birth of the church and its journey then, and then finally that vision for the end times that is always a difficult book to read at the end of the Bible in Revelation. But we have to be aware when we read the Bible of what we're reading. Are we reading historical narrative? Are we reading poetry? Are we reading prayer? What is it that we're reading? And then we have to ask ourselves questions. What's being said here? Who's being spoken to? Where is this being said? And we study it and we drill down into it. And in that we find deep richness in its pages. We should always as well read around the Bible and know the context of where it sits in the wider story. But I've always said to anyone who's come to me and said, where do I start with the Bible? That's probably one of the most important questions. I've always said start with a gospel, one of the first 4 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. Normally I'd send people to Mark. Mark is wonderfully succinct and straight to the point and a very, very easy read. Read it as you would a story and be captivated by it. It is a book of deep, deep richness.
Wonderful, thank you, Ben. Well, yeah, I'm glad you brought your Bible in. Mine is nowhere near as tatty as yours, but this one doesn't get used as often. This is a special one that I use. It's a Bible in 365 days, and the aim is to read it from start to finish in 1 year. So this is what I'm challenging myself with this year. And as Ben said about the application of God's holy word at the end of each day in this Bible, we're encouraged to meditate on a specific verse that we've just read, to contemplate, ask ourselves some direct questions about what does this mean to my life, and then to pray around it. So those are just a few examples on how you can use your Bible, and where would we start when we come and open our Bible. Now, if a Bible is something that doesn't currently sit on your bookshelves at home and is not something that's perhaps often used at home, you can always come in here to Kingdom Crafts, Beacon Books on Maddox Street, and the staff are more than willing to help you find the right Bible for you. But if the Bible is something which you do have, but maybe has never been contemplated on how would I even start, where would I begin reading, how do I read it, when do I stop reading, well, that is what we're here for as clergy in your churches. And trust me, we are never too busy, we are never too occupied to sit down with somebody and discuss how to read the Bible. This is what we're here for, and we would gladly give you that time if that's what you need. So I hope these segments on this series of What is the Bible has been helpful. I hope it encourages us all to go home and to just open these Bibles, and as Ben said, what's the best way we can use it? Well, we can read it, and I hope it makes a lasting impact on your life. Thank you, Ben.
Pleasure.